Welcome to another episode of the CDL Driving Academy podcast. And today our guest is Jeremy. Welcome, Jeremy.
Thank you for having me.
Welcome. I'm very happy to have this conversation with you today. Jeremy has been part of our team for over a year now. He's helped quite a few people get on the road to freedom. And today we're going to kind of learn about his point of view on how he's getting a CDL license and what he's learned in the process of doing so. And maybe we'll kind of get deep into behind the scenes of what actually happens at Driving Academy and how we go above and beyond to help our students out to actually get their CDL license. So if you're watching this video or you listen to us on podcast, make sure you like and subscribe, because the more of you do it, the better it is for the algorithm, as they say, and the more people we can help. Our mission is to help 1 million people get on the road to freedom. So, Jeremy, welcome. How long have you been with Driving Academy officially?
About like a year and 4 months.
Wow, very cool.
Yeah.
And I've seen you grow personally in that time period. How have you seen yourself grow here?
I feel like as a person, I've grown like through my communication skills and through like my knowledge of like the sales, business, and the whole idea of like the trucking industry as a whole. Mm-hmm. I definitely seen growth in like that knowledge frame of that. And it was definitely a great experience to just grow with this company and like grow as a person alongside with the company.
Oh yeah, definitely. I see some big things. Right now you're a full-time student, right?
Yeah.
And you work for us part-time?
Yep.
Cool. And how have you been juggling? Because some of our students are coming in on a part-time basis and they have a full-time job, or some of them are actually going to college too. How do you juggle work and school? And how have you seen our students actually juggle going to work full-time and coming to school part-time?
Well, with juggling school and like work, it's definitely was a hassle, because I used to go to school in New York, and I actually did transfer over here to a school in New Jersey. Made it a little bit easier for myself.
Nice.
And so with that idea of like going back and forth on the train, going through the subway and stuff like that, it was definitely a hassle because I had to manage my time properly. Mm-hmm. And so I would see myself maybe a couple times, you probably don't know this, but running a little late to work and stuff like that. But, definitely try to make it on time, and definitely managing my schedule, because I would have classes in the morning, and then I would have like a 3-hour break and then have class in the afternoon. Wow. So definitely it was a hassle, but luckily I managed here. And for students and that are managing full-time jobs and are managing their home life with kids and stuff like that, their family lives, it's definitely going to be a hassle. But one thing about us is that we're very flexible, so that's going to help them out a lot. And we also do offer like different types of time slots as well that will help them out. So some people get out at like 5 o'clock. We have classes at 5 o'clock, so definitely be able to help them out as well.
That's true, because one of the main concerns that people have when they want to get into a new career, or they want to get into the CDL world, is, hey, I don't have any time. I got kids, I got a wife. How often do I actually have to come in for training? What would you usually tell them if they ask you that question?
They can pick their own schedule. We're open 7 days a week, Monday to Friday, 8 a.m. to 9 p.m., Saturday and Sunday, 9 a.m. to 1 p.m.
Well, it's like you do it for a living.
There you go.
So, can they come in 1 day a week if they wanted to?
They can come in 1 day a week.
2 days a week?
2, 3.
Wow. Okay, cool. And they get to fully pick how they do that?
Yep, they can pick it out through their student portal.
Very good. But some people, well, if it's going to take me 1 day a week, then I'm going to forget by next week. Is that true?
No, they can always practice at home, and they also use our online student training videos to actually practice at home.
Very cool. And actually the way that we've designed the training is, as I was kind of designing this company and the training, I did a lot of research on how humans and specifically adults learn, right? So there's actually a few different phases that somebody goes through when they're learning something new. One, when they're learning a new skill, it's going to be new to them, which means they might start understanding it intellectually. Second phase is going to be, now they're going to try it out, so they start getting it physically. But third phase is then they're going to mess it up. And then the fourth phase is going to be, okay, I think I figured it out, I messed it up, now I got to fix it. And that's when the true learning happens. And that's why we keep our training 4-hour minimum, because that gives enough time for them to go through all those phases, so get locked into their training. So then by next week, they don't forget everything they just did.
And that's perfect about our training our training program, because it's designed in that that learning curve. Like, I'm gonna learn. I mess up, but I get to fix it and I get to learn again.
That's true. Yeah. So one of the perks of being a team member here at Driving Academy is you get to get your CDL license for free.
That's very true.
Have you started the process yet? What's going on there?
So it was actually pretty funny. I started the process about almost a year ago by purchasing my permit. And then complications with school, focusing on my finals, my midterms, and stuff like that, caused me to let my permit expire. Do not do that, by the way.
Yes.
But it led me to get my permit expired. So I'm restarting this process during my winter break this December.
Okay.
And so then it'll give me some leisure time to actually study and then actually get my permit and then go full throttle with this.
So for people who don't know, what's the process of actually getting a CDL license? You're going through the first phase, of it, which is the permit, and you want to go for what type of license?
I want to get a Class A.
Class A, cool. So in order tell the viewers out there, if they want to get a Class A license, what 3 tests do they have to pass?
They have to pass general knowledge, which is 50 questions, air brakes, which is 25 questions, and combination, which is 20 questions.
And how should somebody study for it? How are you planning to study for it?
One of my best study methods is learning part by part, but don't study as a whole.
Okay.
So when I tackle on let's say a subject like general knowledge, I'll break that part into 3.
Okay.
And then I'll study one part. I'll repeat that one part until I have it memorized. Then I will move on to the second part, same procedure, same thing with the third part. And then by that time, when I get to the third part, I will know all 3 parts memorized.
Okay.
So
nice.
It definitely teaches me it's like my own study habit. Maybe I'm just weird, but I like using that method because memorization for me is a little bit easier.
That makes sense. Well, one thing about Jeremy that you guys should know is I think I'm the one that trained you, right?
Yeah.
And I think Jeremy has the record for the quickest trained employee that we have. And I guess that we just found out a reason why, because he breaks things down, which is technically called chunking, and makes sure that it's bite-sized information that he can grasp, and then he can move forward and get going that way. So that's actually a really cool method.
Yeah.
When students are going for it, should they just focus on the apps and kind of questions and answers on the apps itself, or should they actually learn the material?
It's better to learn the material, because even learning how the trucking world is, for example with the pre-trip and stuff like that, you have to actually know how to do this on a daily basis. When you go on a route, you have to do a pre-trip every single time you leave for a route.
That's true.
It's one of the things I learned, because also I have some family members that are actually owner operators.
Nice. That
actually taught me, okay, look, you have to do a pre-trip every single time you go on a route. So it's, you have to know this. You have to learn this type of stuff.
That's true. So first phase is the goal is what, by end of December you're gonna have your permit?
Yeah.
Fully valid.
Fully valid.
And how long is the permit actually valid for?
6 months, but the test scores last for 1 year.
Good. So what actually happened with Jeremy, which happens to some of the students, is they'll get their permit and then something happens and then things have to expire, which means you got to start all over again, right?
You got to renew it.
After the permit phase is done, what's the next step for people who want to get a CDL license?
They have to start their yard training.
Okay.
Plus doing their ELDT, which is a new training program.
What is that? Explain that.
It's called entry-level driver training. It's actually a new program. It's more safety-based, explaining all the safety procedures one must do during real-life scenarios and stuff like that.
Makes sense. Cool. And that's a regulation by the federal government that everyone must go through.
Established on February 7th, actually.
Of this year?
Yep.
2022.
So everyone now that has to get their permit or wants to get their license, they have to go through that whole ELDT process.
Now, if they come to a school like us, do we handle everything for them?
Yeah, we handle everything for them.
One-stop shop.
Yeah, there you go.
Amen to that. So, being around a year and almost a half now, you've interacted with a lot of different students.
Of course.
I'm sure some of them come to mind, whether it's good stories or bad stories. But let's kind of come up with 1 or 2 stories that you can tell the viewers on how have you gone above and beyond to help out these individuals, or what kind of success have you seen to kind of inspire these people to get a CDL?
Yeah, so this one story actually comes to mind. I had this student, he purchased one of our smaller courses, gave him about 1 shot at that road test, and he was very nervous. The nerves start building in, and you're like, oh man, I don't know if I can do it. So he came in one day, I was at the office, I was closing, and he said, look, I don't think I can do it. And so then that's where I pulled him aside. I'm more of a person that I want to emotionally connect with the actual student to make them feel more welcome, more whole. So I sat him down, look, take a breather. What's the problem? He explained to me the whole problems with this pre-trip. Now, the pre-trip is a very complicated thing, yourself. So I was explaining to him, look, there's different ways to actually learn it. I even gave him the method of chunking. So I say, look, go back to your hotel, practice it chunk by chunk, and you'll get it. His road test was the next day.
Oh, wow.
And one of the best things about that is that he came back the next day, about literally 24 hours after we had that discussion. He came back and told me, hey, look, I passed. And then I was even shocked, because I was some people they actually don't take advice that other people give.
That's
so
true.
I was like, okay, look, that was perfect. See, well, it doesn't hurt to listen.
Boom. So you gave him that magic sprinkle, and he was able to go. Now, you said he was in a hotel. Why was he in a hotel?
Oh, because he was actually an out-of-state student. I couldn't remember what state he's from, but definitely he was out of state. So he had to stay in the hotel. So he was here for a week.
Nice. So one of the perks of being a student here at Driving Academy is that we can accept you no matter what state that you actually do live in.
Yeah.
You remember the guys who flew all the way from Hawaii, right?
Yep. Hawaii, Alaska. We literally taught everybody.
Yeah, but I think we're getting close to almost every state. The guy from Hawaii, he was so happy he sent us a whole care package of like Hawaiian products.
Oh,
and
wow.
stuff. Yeah, so that's pretty cool. So you've been talking about the pre-trip a lot. Oh, do a little bit more of an explanation. What is the pre-trip inspection, and why is it so important?
So the pre-trip is basically a runaround of the whole vehicle. You have to inspect every single part, every single component of the vehicle when it comes to the trailer, the fifth wheel, inside the truck. Well, that's your in-cab, but the truck in itself, under the hood, and all that good stuff. The tires, everything. Okay. So it's definitely a difficult process. Because on paper it looks a lot, because it's like maybe 6 pages of just material that you have to know by your head, and you have to memorize every single component.
Wow.
And you have to represent that back to your examiner.
Okay.
So it's definitely a difficult process, but if you study it properly, you won't have no problem.
Nice. And why is it so difficult on the test? It's part of the road test, right?
Yeah, it's part of the road test. The first part of the road test. So if you fail that part, you can't even move on to parking or driving.
Wow. Okay.
So that's what a lot of people seem to misconcept, is that, oh, I want to just drive. No, it's also the pre-trip. The pre-trip is the most important part. I always make sure emphasize that a lot. Correct. Because if you fail the pre-trip, then there's no point of driving.
That's it.
There you go.
You'll be the best unlicensed driver out there.
There you go.
So interacting with as many students as you have, I'm sure you've seen patterns on what makes good students versus bad students, or people who pass versus people who fail a few times. What kind of similarities do the people who pass the first time kind of go through?
The people who pass the first time have initiative. They have that drive to okay, look, I need to get my CDL. So they're not the person waiting around for someone to come. They're not looking for handouts. They want to go take that initiative to okay, I want to start this on my own, and then I'll ask for help. They're not the person that asks for oh, I need help. No, they'll take the initiative. Okay, I'm gonna start my pre-trip, then I'll move on to my parking maneuvers, then I'm gonna start on my road driving. They'll take that extra step beyond, and maybe even practicing at home, practicing at work, watching their videos.
And they'll follow the process,
yeah,
right?
there you go. They'll follow the process even more.
Yeah. So that's something that I've seen. People who kind of struggle are the people who kind of want to make up their own process as they go along. At the end of the day, people have to remember they're paying us to actually help out, right?
Yeah.
So if somebody does have any questions, are you a good person to ask?
I'm the guy.
That's it. So if you want to ask any questions about getting your CDL license, you definitely want to give our team a call. Jeremy's in our Linden location currently, and our number is 908-525-3609. You can ask for Jeremy. If he's not in for whatever reason, maybe he's in school like you heard, any other individual can definitely help you out. So you've been here for about 1.5 years. The plan is to get a CDL license. Where do you see yourself in the future? Where do you see yourself going?
I still see myself with this company.
Cool.
Definitely growing. Who knows? The portal is endless at this point.
Nice.
We're building. We have franchise. We're opening up new locations, undisclosed. But we have a bunch of different plans in the process. So definitely, I want to grow alongside those plans.
Very cool. Some of the information that I got this week, and nobody knows about this yet, is we've actually have a few different individuals actually coming in next week to check out the school and potentially open one up. One's going to be in Texas.
Oh, wow.
Potentially. And the other one I think is going to be, Washington State is where they're going. And then we have a few people in the pipeline. This one individual, he's actually the very high figure in, I'm trying to keep it as disclosed as possible, but a super important guy in the group that he's in charge of. And he's looking to open up 12 locations.
Oh, wow.
So Driving Academy franchising is growing. If somebody who maybe is watching this and saying, hey, maybe one day I want to open up my own Driving Academy one day, what have you seen on the inside on processes and procedures in place on how you were trained and how easy or maybe how difficult it might be to run one of these schools?
To run a school, I don't run a school myself, but seeing the inside view is how you established this whole program with franchising and stuff like that. It made it so easy for it to open up a driving academy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, you give out the layouts, you make it so easy for them to actually start this process, from the ground up. Finding a yard, finding trucks, finding employees, and then training those employees. You have SOPs and multiple different types of things to actually help them out with all that.
That's true. So what are some of the things that we do maybe that other companies don't do? Talk about the weekly trainings and one-on-ones, and how important is that?
Oh, well, we touch base with all, management touches base with all their employees, on a weekly basis, always making sure they're checking in with, them based on, what they're doing in their job and how they're doing mentally and emotionally. Nice. That's one of the best things because, you check on them as a person, not even just as an employee.
Correct, yeah. So, and one of the things is everything is process driven, right? So, what we're tracking every day is, hey, are we hitting our calls? Are we hitting our sales goals? Are we hitting our people coming in for tours? And we've kind of broken everything down to an exact science.
Yeah, we broke it down to a number.
Perfect. That's beautiful. And what's the next step for you in Driving Academy? What kind of position do you see yourself moving into?
Any type of management. Beautiful. Honestly, I'm a person that I know I'm a leader, and I want to showcase the fact that I'm a leader. Good. So moving up into a management position definitely is something I have in mind. So then definitely I can help and contribute more to the company that I already do.
Beautiful. I love to see that, and I know you have the skill set to get there as well. So any last words that you would like to tell the viewers about getting a CDL license? Maybe they're on the fence. Yeah, it sounds good, but I don't know if I'm ready for it or not. Like, what's happening if they don't sign up this year? What's going to happen if they sign up next year?
That's great that you brought it up. Like, right now is the best time to get your CDL because next year we're actually bringing up our prices. We don't know what they are yet, but why wait? Just do it now. Have that initiative. Be one of those people that pass on the first try. Have that initiative. Have that drive to actually get your CDL license and get on your road to freedom.
That's right. Now, I'm not going to say what the pricing actually is yet, but to kind of give you a comparison, I made you call a few different competitors, right?
Yep.
And what kind of pricing were you seeing out there?
Seeing anywhere like the $5,000 range.
And for how many hours of training?
It's from bare minimum.
Like 30 hours of training.
30 hours of training.
For
maybe
500 for 5,000.
One road test.
One road test, right? Just to kind of give you guys a comparison, currently in 2022, our pricing is for 160 hours of training and an unlimited tries at the road test, which is our flagship course, which is our guaranteed training course. You can actually walk away for $4,400 and have all of that training. Not 30 hours, 160 hours of training. So because of that, we've tried to keep our prices stable this whole year, even though pricing has all of our costs as a business has gone up. But we're going to have to increase our pricing in January 1st. So if you do want to lock yourself in, right now is the best time because it's going to be the cheapest it's ever going to be moving forward because prices don't go down because expenses just keep going up, right?
Right.
And any other kind of advice that you can kind of give somebody in guiding them into this career?
Don't be a follower, be a leader. Especially during your training, be a leader and take that initiative to actually, make yourself go on that success road. And, when it comes to your pre-trip parking maneuvers, if you're struggling, it doesn't hurt to ask for help as well.
That's right. And we're here to help you out. We've got a whole team of people just like Jeremy. Jeremy is one of the best people on the team itself. And we really care about the success that you have. I've seen Jeremy many, many times take students aside and kind of calm them down and when they're nervous, because right before the test is when people get the scariest.
That's when the nerves come in and everything.
I've seen crazy muscle guys who have crazy backgrounds, and all of a sudden they start sweating right before the test. They start freaking out, and it's funny and frustrating at the same time when they'll come in, they'll cause a big storm in the office. Hey, I'm not ready. You guys, blah blah blah. And then they go to pass their test, and then they come back the next day. Oh, I'm so sorry that I said that.
They come back with a smile on their face.
I'm so sorry. I didn't mean none of that. I was just stressed. And we see that all the time because it is a super stressful environment. Yeah. But if you follow the process, it can be very easily accomplished, right?
There you go.
Cool. So thank you very much for this episode, I think it's episode 6 of the Driving Academy podcast. And now we have a debut of our sound effects. So is Jeremy going to get one of these or one of those? Put in comment below which one should it be. One of these or one of these. If it was me voting, it's definitely going to be one of these right over here. All right, Jeremy, I hope to see you continue the growth that you've done. I'm very proud of you. Keep up the good work, and let's get this thing going because we got 1 million people to get on the road to freedom.
Yep.
That ain't no small task.
Nope, not at all.
So if you are interested in getting yourself on your road to freedom, go to our website at cdldrivingacademy.com or check out give Jeremy a call at our office at 908-525-3609. Thank you very much, my friend.
Thank you.
All right. Thanks, guys, and I'll see you on the next one. Hey, thank you so much for watching this video. If you like it, make sure you hit that like button. Also, subscribe to our channel. It's really going to help us out. Click on that button. And if you want to continue yourself on your road to freedom, here's more videos to watch. There's endless amounts. Hopefully we get to see each other one day very soon. Thanks.